Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love.
Good evening. This is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real. Hope y'all doing good, because tomorrow is Christmas Day. And don't y'all eat too much. Don't be acting like that, okay? Well, we have back KC to finish his story. But before we start, I'm so excited, because I got to hear the rest of this. Now, last week was, I don't look like what I've been through. And this week, we ain't going to tell y'all what it is till the end. But anyway, let's do a little quick review.
We have to.
KC, say hi to the good folks.
Hi to the good folks, and we really don't need to do a review, okay? You just play back what you heard. Let's go forward.
The good folks know I have to do a good review. If this is your first time tuning in to DTM Real Talk, we're here hopefully to inspire you, to encourage you, to give you a little hope, and to make you laugh, because that's what KC did last week, right? But anyway, asking that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel today. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas tomorrow, starting tonight. And yeah, so last week, KC told us he's from Macon, Georgia, in the center of Georgia. Am I right?
Right.
And, he talked to us shared with us about his family, his brother, his mom, grandma, close-knit family, and how he was reared, and everything that was going on with mom and all that stuff, and how he lived a quiet, depressed life. And he explained what that meant. And that's pretty crucial. I hope y'all heard that out. And if you didn't, go back and listen to it. And so he tunneled through school, very intelligent young man at the moment and at that time. went to college, got married early on, didn't work out, went to the second marriage, didn't work out, went to the third marriage, didn't work out. Y'all better go listen to that clip. That clip had me cracking up. But anyway, and I think later on he found that the common denominator was somewhere in there. But anyway, he ain't asked God nothing, okay? But anyway, good folks, he shared with us that after the therapy from his last marriage, how he went on to pursue some things, and his wife passed away, and he received a diagnosis at that time. And I want him to tell you guys what it was. So say hi to the good folks and finish telling your story.
Hello to the good folks, and I'm now going to finish telling my story. In 2015,
okay,
I was a big gym enthusiast, and I couldn't remember. I told you I couldn't do the athletic stuff, lifting, sculpting my body. I got into it because I had friends that were weightlifters along the way, and I got into it. And I learned to do the things they taught me to do. And I was drinking my creatine drink, and I'm just doing my thing, and I'm starting to bulk up, and I'm excited about it. Yes. And so I went home, up the stairs. I was in a condominium. I lived alone, and I ran up the stairs, and I would take them two at a time, because I was just that athletic, right? I got to the top of the stairs, took 2 steps into my room, and passed out. Long story short, I ended up at a local hospital, and the doctor said to me, "You have congestive heart failure, and your heart is dying, and you probably won't live much longer than a year and a half, unless you do something."
Wait, KC, so do you know if congestive heart failure ran in your family or not?
Well, I didn't at that time, but I later learned that my father, who I was estranged from, didn't live with, he died of congestive heart failure, okay? And that was something that was interesting, because at the time I was going in, my brother was in another state coming out, having been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So
Ooh.
that was the way it was. It was congenital. So the you have exercise-induced asthma was not really an accurate diagnosis. The real
Right.
story was I had a congenital heart problem. And that's why I couldn't get all excited and run, because I just couldn't handle it. My heart was defective. And
Yes.
over the period of time that I lived my life, it was dying. And I didn't believe that now because I felt fine.
Right.
But they told me don't go back to the gym. And I got really disturbed about that. And I didn't. I watched my life depreciate over a period of a year and a half. And I was like, wow. Now, while I was in that local hospital, they wanted to do some kind of invasive procedure.
Okay.
And I refused them. And I said, dismiss me. I don't believe you. And I got out of there and went back to my general practitioner. He told me to go to Emory. And I went to Emory. And my cardiologist that I met there looked me in my eye and said, their diagnosis is correct.
Wow.
In a year and a half, your heart will die. He says, but if you believe God like I do.
The cardiologist.
Yeah. And trust me, we can do something about that.
Wow.
And so his diagnosis included God. Okay.
Wow.
Here I am, a pastor and preacher, listening to this man, and that's all I heard. I didn't hear anything else. I just did everything he told me to do. And to the day he told me my heart would die, it died. Okay. I went to Emory, stood in front of in the admissions office, getting ready to go into the hospital because I was feeling sick. He says, when you get really sick, come here, come to me. I got really sick. Now this is a year and a half.
A year and a half later. Okay.
I'm congestive heart failure and I'm just dying. Everything that I loved and did was disappearing, except my 3 nights a week Bible study, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, and my preaching on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock and mentoring preachers. I did it regardless. And then when I went to Emory, I passed out. They told me I died.
Okay.
Okay. 3 paddles later, they brought me back and I woke up in intensive care. And told me that if I didn't get a heart within the next 6 or 7 weeks, that they would have another invasive procedure that sounded like I was going to be on some kind of machine thing that I plug in. And I said, oh no, I can't do that. But my thing was, I knew God had something going on with me.
Yeah.
And I told my doctor, I said, now you wait on a new heart. I'm not waiting on a heart. I'm waiting on God's decision about the rest of my life.
Wow.
Until then, he says, well, what are you going to do while you're lying in bed? Most people start business. They do all kinds of things. I said, I'm going to keep doing what I do. 2 guys, a young man in my church, my IT guy, who is my buddy, he kept my ministry going I started doing virtual then. I would do Bible studies and my preaching and teaching in my hospital bedroom with the table on the bed and my computer in front of me. He made sure that it was stable and hit that screen. People came into the church, and that's how I did it.
Oh, wait. So while you were waiting for a heart in the hospital,
right,
your God set you up with everything you needed to continue ministry, teaching, and preaching.
Right.
What you said.
Right. And we archived them. I call them the Chronicles from Emory University Hospital. You could watch me going down, 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 down.
Wow.
No.
So they were watching your health. They were watching your health decline as well.
Yes. And a lot of my members couldn't stand watching me die. They left and went other places. They just couldn't stand it. Those that understood what was happening, they were very supportive, but very afraid.
Sure.
I literally was dying. And in the 5th week, there was a nurse that used to come in. She says, okay, Pastor, here's what's going to happen. On Fridays, we get that heart. She said, this could be your weekend. She did that 3 times. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 3 weekends and it didn't happen. But
Right.
in the 5th week, she says, I'm not going to do it this weekend. She says, I'm not doing that. I don't do it. Well, that was the weekend that
That was the week the heart came.
the heart came. And it was so exciting because I had just finished my Bible study, and they said to me, well, let's go. I said, okay. And when I came back, 3 days had passed because I recovered. It was like, okay, I need to, what today? Oh, I need to get my Bible study together.
So wait, they put the heart in, and then you came back. Were you aware that you had the new heart, or you was just
I didn't know anything had happened. All I knew
you just know you just know you but
all I knew was what day it was and what time my Bible study started.
Okay, I got you.
That was the deal. And the doctors at Emory were amazed because they tripped me out because they did everything around my schedule. No one ever bothered me. In fact, the nurses stood outside the door and listened to my Bible studies, right?
Oh, wow.
This became, it was so funny because they all became a part of my ministry. It was fascinating. It really was fascinating. And I never thought about it. And then it hit me. Oh my goodness, I had a heart transplant.
Uh-huh.
So they told me I would have to recover in 2 weeks. I did it in a week and they dismissed me and I hit the ground running.
Wow.
And I never had any of the problems that anybody had until my 6th year.
Okay, that's 6 years.
Having some problems with my heart. No rejection, just a bunch of medicine, the most expensive medicine in the world. And God just worked amazingly in my life. Mm-hmm. But I was a new creature now. I'm not the same man I was. Uh-huh. I'm totally different now because I'm on the other side of having passed away and being resuscitated, okay? So I see life so differently now. And I'm more attuned to the will, the purpose of God and my purpose, because I know I'm alive. Yeah. Because I have something to do with this Christ. Because my teaching and my preaching was all about this Christ in a way that the preachers around me, I was like, what are y'all preaching? Why aren't you preaching this? Well, my church of 25 years in November, this past November, I retired from pastoring and started focusing my attention on teaching Bible study and teaching preachers how to understand this exegetical method of biblical interpretation that I learned. That I learned in seminary, what I got from that whole time. And it's who I am. And I'm living now my best life.
Wow. That's awesome. So, okay, so how long did you stay in the hospital?
I was in the hospital. So it took 6 weeks.
After the heart.
6 weeks after the hospital. I was in recovery a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they moved me out of the hospital into their recovery unit. Okay. And I made it through a week and they told me, well, you're fine. You want to go home? And I go, yes. Wow. And I went home.
So what about your brother? How, the people that were around you, where were they? Or did you have the support?
Well, like I told you, there was 2 guys, the IT guy, the other guy sat by my bedside. Very good. Well, as long as, he was there every day. Whatever I couldn't do for me, he did it for me. It was just my caretaker to this day, because he believed in the ministry and what I was doing so fervently. When I didn't believe, I looked in his eyes and I felt like I should believe him. I'm doing this because he's watching me. He kind of kept me alive. He's still a part of the ministry and he's my best friend. Very good. Very good. So where's your brother? My brother's in Kentucky. He retired from the Army Special Ops, and he retired from the police department. And he's starting now to feel some of the symptoms. My doctors told me that it just worked differently in him than it did me. We were on the same medicine for a while, but my brother's always been athletic, always been in the gym, always been that way. So he had a little more going for him. His symptoms are slowly there. He's 67. I'm 66. Gotcha. So tell the good folks, what are the symptoms that you experienced, some of them, to lead you to the diagnosis that what were some of the things you experienced? And then tell them what are some of the things maybe your brother shared with you that he experienced that were different? Well, to be quite honest with you, I never noticed any symptomatology at all regarding congestive heart failure. I thought I had asthma. Okay, that's all I knew. And when I was diagnosed, my energy levels started to decrease, and I started being out of breath and couldn't do the things I used to do. I was a big walker, and I'd walk, and I couldn't do any of that. I couldn't. It got to a point where I lost my appetite. I lost lots of weight, and before I knew it, I could tell I was dying. I really could. And my brother told me that he felt the same way. And then all of a sudden, he just felt a resurgence, and he's doing okay. He hasn't had, my heart just died immediately. His situation is just totally different from mine.
Wow.
But he's like, he learns from me. He says, you tell me things, I do, like the sodium content, the whole lifestyle change. He changed his whole life, and it seems to be holding him stable. But my heart died immediately. It just rapidly died.
Wow.
So many people ask for a clean heart, and they get a clean heart. God gave me a new heart.
I got you. You got a new heart. Amen.
A new heart. I got a 40-year-old heart.
Yes. So you said a 14-year-old heart?
I'm 40.
40.
The young man that he had an accident on a motorcycle in Atlanta.
That was my next question.
Yeah, and I received this. I don't know his name. I don't know anything about him except a couple of things. They don't tell you stuff like that. I did write his family a letter and told them when they're ready to meet me, let me know. The mother just couldn't handle it, but everybody else did. So they wrote back, my caretaker back, and said they'll wait and they'll get in touch with me when it was the best time for them. So I just feel like there's a piece of I need to know these people, but it hasn't happened. I'm okay with that. Okay, I can wait.
It will happen, and it's timing for everybody, but it's timing for the mother for sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
But I'm terribly grateful, and I want to say that. I really want to say that. I literally died, and my life is because of his heart, and I want to say that, and I want to look at them and say that. I just feel like that's something that I need to do. But
never know. They may see this clip. Hey, I don't.
I'll wait my time. Yeah. I understand from my caretaker, they know more about me than I know about them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. Very good. I am so thankful that God allowed you to get his heart. Hey.
Yeah, I am too.
His situation was or whatever, but all things work together for good to them that love God.
All things.
But anyways, that was amazing. Now, let's talk about some things you can say to the good folks out there that are struggling. What advice would you give the person that, now I got a couple of questions, but this one is what I want to be direct. I'm told that men have difficulty or struggles going to the doctor. Well, whether it's egotistical, whether it's, I don't know what it is, but pride, selfishness, don't want to take care of themselves. I don't know what it is. What advice would you say to them if they are getting short of breath? Just give me something. What would you say to the good folks? And they continually going to the gym and knowing every now and then you getting a little short of breath.
Well, it's I have always been a believer in preventative medicine. I've always believed that we should keep a constant cycle of consciousness about our health, our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health. So I'm a big component of wellness. And I say very clearly that to be fully human and to be a real man, wellness, that's the formula. That's the equation. Going to the gym and buffing up only handles the aesthetics, but the internal workings. I was told that I had too much water in my body and I was drowning my kidneys with the creatine. Okay, so without going to the doctors and having that ritual going on in my life, I would not have known as much as I've come to know. And now I'm just serious about it. Constant monitoring everything, because when they give you a heart, they don't connect all the nerves back. So that's the only way you can measure your real function is through biopsy and blood work. So I have a ritual of medications I have to take, and I have vitamins. I have to measure everything to know exactly what's going on. So any attention to one thing and not to the other is foolish.
Yes.
It's short-sighted.
Yes. Yes. Thank
And I
you.
personally don't think that's a male thing. I think that's a female. I think it's a gender thing. I think
It could be.
what
It
it
could
is to
be.
you.
It could be. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just hearing you say it.
What did I say? I said what I'm told.
Yeah, you're told when you tell them.
Well, I don't have to because you telling them on here.
Okay, them let you know.
But anyway, I think this is just my opinion. It's just like a nose. Everybody,
Okay.
everybody got one.
Everybody
I just think women are more. We'll go to the doctor quicker. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that, but there are women who don't.
I got
As
it.
a pastor, I have taken women to gynecologists for the first time that were in my church. Okay. So that's why I say that.
Okay. Okay. All right. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing that. So pay attention to yourselves, family, YouTube land. Just pay attention to yourselves. Do a preventative medicine.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. That's all I'm saying. Some things we can't change, but the things that we can, we need to do that. I always tell people.
And this, let me say this to them. Whatever your condition is, because we're human, consider this seriously. It is your gifting. Okay. I feel like I was gifted with CHF. But that was my journey, and that's a part of my gift. And the journey it takes me on, and it took me on, is still going on. Okay. So whatever condition, rather than tripping and losing your mind and avoiding being afraid of the doctor, it's a gifting. Whatever you have, if it's high blood pressure, if it's kidney disease, if it's heart, that's a gifting. The faith on the backside of the cross, after the resurrection, after the ascension, is about whether or not the faith is alive, no matter what. The healing is the recognition that God has chosen you for this experience. Can you handle that? That's how I see what's happening with me. So I tell people that all the time. It's not the sickness, it's not the desire for healing, it's the gifting and the journey. Then we get to tell somebody in faith, in Christ, I'm in the 4 stages, but he's still real. You know?
Yes. Yeah. I had a guy that was diagnosed with cancer, a very good friend of mine. And he said to me, as a matter of fact, I have another friend of mine that's walking through it now. He said he wouldn't have it any other way.
Any other way.
He said, because matter of fact, I'm going to try to get him on to share his story. He says he wouldn't have it any other way. He said he wouldn't be as close to God.
Oh, yes.
Close to God, as intimate with God as he would now, as he would have then. Yeah, he says he's more intimate and closer in hearing God. And with the cancer that he has, it's been known that people don't live. You see what I'm saying? This guy is walking in his gift. I mean, it's amazing. It's almost unbelievable to watch him. Almost unbelievable to watch him.
It's Jesus becomes so much more precious because it's through him that we get that voice from God. We can hear God because of what Jesus is doing with us and how he's embracing us intimately. Yeah, that happens. It's like Paul when he coming down the backside in the basket. Okay, and I tell people all the time, if you have not been in the basket, you've not yet met him. It's interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Well, with that said, we thank you so much for your transparency. We thank you for your honesty, for your openness. And this is DTM Real Talk. And if you need to reach out, y'all can reach out to me at DTM Real Talk. We're just keeping it real. DTMRealTalk@gmail.com. I will get the contact information for Casey Stevens. If you would like to talk to him, I'll put that on the end of the clip. And you can reach out to him at any time, and he will be glad to assist you in any way that he can.
Please.
So this is DTM Real Talk, and we're just doing what? Keeping it real. And y'all have a very Merry Christmas tomorrow. God bless.
Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.